The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning. It is 5 a.m. on this Thursday. I'm Alex Fisher along with Nicole Gitsky. Nicole is back from vacation. Literally just got back a few hours ago, right?
Yeah, it's a little rough here this morning, but we're getting through it. It's, I should say happy to be back, but I don't really,
I know. It's kind of one of those bittersweet
right?
things. Yeah, it's nice to get back to a schedule, but I'm glad you enjoyed your vacation.
I did, and the weather was beautiful there, so I really can't talk about weather today. I don't know how it was.
I was going to say, because you were in Hawaii, so it was just beautiful, right? In
yes.
paradise. Yeah, here in Kern County, I wouldn't necessarily say paradise, but at least it's not too bad out there, Kev.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask, but temperature is probably kind of what we've been seeing in the islands, in the upper 80s, lower 90s. It depends on where you were, and that's where we're going to keep it for today before we really start to see a warm up here in Kern County. Let's take you outside right now. We've got mid-60s to start off your morning under clear skies. No winds to talk about. We're calm at this time as we take a look at the hour by hour. Plenty of sunshine today. We'll be right near 90. So temperature is about where we have been. And then out of Tehachapi, the sun is coming up here. We've got a temperature of 55. A west-northwest wind at 12 miles per hour. There will be a little bit of a breeze your way. But you can see overall the winds are light. We've got a little bit of a breeze over the Grapevine if you're headed that direction. And you can see throughout the day, mid-60s by 9 a.m. And then we're looking at some mid-70s and mostly sunny throughout the afternoon. We're still tracking the triple digits. When will they arrive? Got more details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. This morning, another American city is feeling shock, sadness, and looking for answers. Police in San Jose say a gunman opened fire yesterday at a transportation facility, and while you were sleeping, police confirmed another victim of the shooting. 9 people were killed. Police say the gunman also died, shooting himself when deputies surrounded him. The story now from NBC's Dan Shinneman.
Investigators scouring the scene of a San Jose, California rail yard after a gunman opened fire.
This is an active shooter.
It was about 6:30 a.m. when the shooting started. The Sheriff's Department headquarters is nearby.
They did not wait. They immediately went into the scene and rendered first aid and rescued victims out of the building as fast as they can.
The suspected gunman found dead.
I can confirm with you that deputies did not exchange gunfire. And right now, we're going to go with the assumption that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound from the suspect.
The threats were not over. Authorities searched for possible explosives at a nearby building. A home thought to belong to the gunman up in flames, likely set on fire just before the first shots were fired. The gunman identified as 57-year-old Samuel Cassidy, a worker at the rail yard, the motive unknown. His ex-wife told NBC station KNTV she was in shock.
Because I never thought he would do that.
Near the rail yard,
she dropped her phone and she's all right.
Friends and family of workers eagerly hope for news. Some, after an agonizing wait, reunited with loved ones. Dan Shenneman, NBC News.
And all 9 victims have been identified. They range in age from 29 to 63 years old. And we have some breaking news coming into our newsroom this morning. Traffic is blocked off near Union Avenue and 18th Street after a pedestrian was hit by a car. We'll want to take you live to the scene right now. Details are still limited, but our photojournalist Mickey Van Horn, who is on scene, says 2 cars were involved in this crash and the person has been taken away in an ambulance, the person that was hit. The condition of that person is not known. We'll continue to keep you updated as soon as we learn more. But you should expect delays if you're traveling through this area.
Making headlines around the state, a new poll shows most California voters would keep Governor Newsom in office if the recall election was held today. The Public Policy Institute of California poll shows 57% of voters support keeping the governor in office. The poll also noted big boosts in voter perceptions of the state's COVID-19 situation, vaccine rollout, and economy. But some Democrats are urging Newsom's administration to try to shorten the recall timeline to have the election sooner than this fall, noting his biggest threat are the unknowns with virus variants and wildfires. Recall organizers could call that move manipulative.
How an August recall election would affect your group and the whole recall effort just overall? Do you think it would hamper what
Oh, no. This is just the kind of thing that he underestimates and has underestimated all along. You want to give us a reason to mobilize citizens and compound the number of people engaged? Go ahead and manipulate the citizens of California.
Newsom earlier this week would not say when he hopes the election would be scheduled.
A busy night for Bakersfield police as they arrested 4 drivers and cited dozens during a checkpoint last night. We want to take you to some video of the checkpoint that was held on Ming Avenue near Cal State Bakersfield. In total, 4 people were arrested, 1 for DUI, 2 for felony warrants, and 1 who failed to register as a sex offender. The department also says publicizing these checkpoints ahead of time is a proven method for deterring impaired driving on our local roadways. And officers are warning they will be out in full force this holiday weekend looking for intoxicated drivers. Extra CHP officers will be on the roads from tomorrow through Memorial Day. Officers will be watching for impaired and distracted drivers and those who are not wearing their seatbelts. According to CHP, nearly 80% of people killed in crashes last Memorial Day weekend, were not wearing a seatbelt. One person is in the hospital this morning after a rollover crash south of Bakersfield last night. According to CHP, the crash happened on Houghton Road just west of South Union Avenue around 8:45 p.m. It's unclear what caused the crash, but as you can see, the car ended up on its roof. The driver was taken to the hospital with major injuries, according to CHP.
But we're just days away from Memorial Day, a time to honor our military heroes killed in the line of duty. And the Tehachapi American Legion wants to remember our fallen heroes. The Tehachapi Memorial Day Parade is set to begin at 10 a.m. Monday, May 31st. The parade route is on F Street in downtown, beginning at Mulberry Street and ending at Central Park. Then at 11, there will be a flag-raising ceremony at Central Park. And the Greenlaw Funeral Home is also hosting a ceremony this Memorial Day to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Color Guard members from the Sons of American Revolution and Bakersfield High School will perform military honors, and Greenlawn will unveil their newest cremation garden, the Court of Honor. Several Kern County representatives will also join in the ceremony. The tribute will begin at 11 a.m. and feature light refreshments.
Our annual shoe drive to help the homeless in our community continues for just a few more days, so time is running out. KGET is teaming up with Guarantee Shoe Center in downtown Bakersfield to collect new and gently worn shoes. This is new video of all of the shoe donations coming into our lobby here at the KGET studios. It's part of our Shoes for Our Homeless shoe drive. Over the years, the Shoe Center donated thousands of pairs of shoes to the Bakersfield Homeless Center. And if you would like to donate, you can bring shoes directly to the Guarantee Shoe Center near the intersection of 21st Street and Chester Avenue. You can also drop off shoes at the lobby of the KGET studios at Compassion Corner at 22nd and L Streets.
Well, an update now on a successful event that raises money to help local cancer patients and their families. Yesterday's Team Up Against Cancer barbecue was held in the parking lot of the Crystal Palace. For a $15 donation, people got a deep pit beef sandwich, chips, water, and a cookie. The barbecue was put on by the Kern Cancer Coalition, which is made up of 4 local cancer nonprofits. The money raised helps serve the needs of local cancer patients and their families.
We all provide something different for our patients, and so we thought, well, let's come together as local organizations and try to solve this issue. So we decided to have a fundraiser together, and we're splitting the money 4 ways from the barbecue today, and so far it's been a huge success.
Organizers say the barbecue event sold 2,400 lunches, raising more than $34,000. We want to thank everyone for taking part in this event and giving in the spirit of the Golden Empire.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
Welcome back, and we have an update on a vegetation fire that started yesterday afternoon off of Round Mountain Road near Calm. The fire burned 15 acres and at one point threatened structures, but firefighters were fast to stop the flames. The good news this morning is that the fire is now 100% contained. And speaking of wildfires, the Kern County chapter of the American Red Cross is looking for volunteers. These people will work at emergency shelters and evacuation centers When Disaster Strikes. If you're interested, you can participate in a virtual training fair to learn how to help. The first one is tonight at 5:30. We have more information on our website, kget.com.
Welcome back in Washington. It's all about jobs today. President Biden heads to Ohio to push his infrastructure plan. He calls it a jobs bill. Republicans say it's anything but. We'll see their plan this morning. Tracy Potts has more from Washington.
Hi, Nicole. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. $1 trillion. That's what Republicans now say they'll spend on infrastructure. The details of their new plan coming out this morning with different ideas than President Biden on how to pay for this. Republicans outlined their $1 trillion infrastructure plan this morning, paid for with unspent COVID funds. It's still $700 billion short of what President Biden wants to spend. The White House says he'll compromise, but not on who pays for it.
He wants to make sure that we don't tax people who make like less than $400,000 a year. So we look forward to seeing what they come back with.
We're not going to pay for this by undoing the tax reform that gave us the best economy of my lifetime. That is not on the table.
Republicans worried about the mounting cost of Biden's proposals.
The Democrats' hard left turn has already hurt our economy. But they still seem to think that massive bill should only actually just be the appetizer. Just the appetizer.
President Biden pushes his infrastructure plan in Ohio today. He'll visit a student training center and focus on building and renovating affordable housing, paid for in his plan.
Our goal is to deal with a big, bold plan in July,
leaving at least another month to negotiate. Also, the government announces today how many people filed new unemployment claims last week. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
3 Dallas police officers were shot after responding to a 911 call last night. The officers responded to a home in Flower Mound to check on reports of a suicidal man. When officers arrived, officials say a man inside the home opened fire, hitting all 3 officers. Officers returned fire. Officials say none of the officers received life-threatening wounds.
One officer was transported to one of our local hospitals. The other was transported to another. One has been released. He's doing well. The other is still receiving treatment right now for minor injuries, but he is stable.
A SWAT team arrived on the scene to make contact with the man. It's unclear if those attempts have been successful.
Well, 2 federal jail guards accused of failing to keep watch over Jeffrey Epstein that night he killed himself have reached an agreement with prosecutors. In the agreement, the 2 guards admit they, quote, willfully and knowingly falsified documents stating they had regularly checked on Epstein and other cells in the Manhattan Correctional Facility. Epstein was being held without bail while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges when he took his own life. The 2 guards will be under pre-trial supervision for 6 months and perform 100 hours of community service.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
A side effect of the pandemic, unemployment, not a lack of jobs, but a lack of employees in businesses across the country. While some companies are luring potential employees with signing bonuses and increased pay, one corporation is offering a special group of people life-changing job training. NBC's Dan Sheneman has the story.
42-year-old Amy Jones is new to Schuler's Bakery in Springfield, Ohio. Jones and her co-worker, Chad McKinster, are graduates of the Abilities Connection, or TAC.
We are engaged in training, vocational training, job discovery, non-medical transportation, whatever it takes to connect people with disabilities to the community to become employed in whatever occupation they'd like to be employed in.
The Abilities Connections Academy offers a 110-hour training program that includes anything from manufacturing, the soft skills required for customer relations, to food preparation.
I learned how to cut meat and lettuce right.
Despite the pandemic, TAC opened a restaurant so program participants have real-life training.
We also provide live experience for their resume.
They teach me a lot to get me a job at Schuler's.
Darren Huff heads up human resources at Schuler's Bakery and says employees like Jones and McKinster are treated like everyone else.
Having a job just means everything to them. So they do give 100%.
Huff says employers having a hard time filling positions should consider a non-traditional approach.
This is a really kind of like an untapped resource, and it's amazing, the quality of the candidate that you can get to come work for you.
Tapping into a special group of people that does as much for the community as the job does for them. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.